point.
Continue.
But Destiny,
there'll be more deaths.
Destiny,
Maybe it'll be me at the
Destiny,
next one. Who knows? There'll be
well,
more
I do
people
agree
who
you want
die.
it to
And
continue.
you guys are all
Destiny-
going to turn around and be like, I can't believe it. What's going on?
Destiny-
What's happening here?
Okay,
Yeah.
Destiny, if you care so much about political violence in America, why don't you lead the way yourself without mentioning anybody else? Why don't you, Destiny, right now just outright condemn the murder of Charlie Kirk?
Because we've been doing that for a decade. One side can't turn down the temperature.
You can't do it.
Can't turn down the temperature.
He said the left can't turn down the temperature, but the right needs to turn down. I really have no words. This is the ultimate gaslighting.
Temperature. If Donald Trump can't,
that guy just started praying.
then the left shouldn't until he does.
Got it.
Republicans
okay, you don't want to do
need
it.
accountability for their actions. They need some responsibility for the insanity.
He had it coming.
Even though you take none yourself. Let me bring in Jack Posobiec.
We absolutely,
All right, that's enough, Destiny. I'll bring in Jack Posobiec.
Yeah,
Jack.
okay. Nice. Both sides it.
Jack.
Yeah.
What is your response to this?
Every time I hit a bottleneck, I build a new AI employee to crush it. I used to say that I had one AI employee.
I mean, Piers, this is exactly what I'm talking about. You know, this type of ideology where you've got someone who's willing to mock Erica, who's been standing strong for her family, for her children, who's just, she will never be able to grow old with Charlie. She will never be able to be with them again, have more children, to have grandchildren, to have those memories, to raise them. It's all gone. Every single moment of that future that they had was gone because someone fired a bullet at Charlie Kirk that said, "Hey, fascist, catch." And now you have people celebrating it. And when you ask people
That's
about
not even
it,
the
they
bullet
say,
that was fired.
"Oh,
How are you lying about this?
Shut up, Destiny.
Holy
Shut
shit.
up.
You're so
Shut
shameless,
up.
dude. Oh my God. You're not even inside the right bullet. You're such a disgusting
Piers.
piece of shit. Holy fuck.
What a
Piers.
pedantic
Are we-
point. What a
are we
It's not
even gonna do
pedantic.
this?
This guy's a fucking
It's
professional
total
liar.
pedantry.
It's total pedantry. Total
This guy
even gonna
probably
do
fucking-
I would like to let
Jesus.
Jack. I would like to let Jack finish his point. please.
Pierce, you got to get a mute button. You got to get a mute button.
Yeah,
and,
it's just
and
rant
they'll
here,
claim there's no leftist connection. They'll claim there's no there and then go so far as to lie and say there's some kind of Christian conservative connection when you could see the writing on the bullet casings. And so, you know, these are very common symbols associated, whatever. The point is, right, it should be very, very clear. Are we connected with our humanity or are we not? And some people are willing to do that. Anna's been willing to do that. We've done shows together. They've been fine. They've been good. We've jousted. We've done the back and forth. Dustin and I in the past have had shows together where before he kind of took this turn. And you think there are people who can just be willing to stand up for humanity. You know, Jack, it reminds me a bit of the journey I've gone on, very different circumstances, but the Israel-Hamas war. The reason I asked everybody on the pro-Palestinian side for months after the war started, do you condemn what Hamas did, is I think it was very enlightening as to the humanity of the person by how they responded. If their immediate response was, of course I do, the mass murder of civilians on October the 7th was a horrendous atrocity, then we can move on to an intellectually honest debate. If they refuse to condemn what Hamas did, it's a completely different debate. And similarly, right now, I feel if you can't condemn a lot of what the IDF are doing, frankly, it's my opinion, in Gaza, then the same thing. If you're unequivocally like, it's all fine with 20,000 plus kids being killed, then I've got a problem with that too. But I do think you've got to try and maintain in all of these debates a modicum of humanity about people who are actually being killed. And what is terrifying about the mindset of a lot of people on the woke left have seen since Charlie Kirk's death is the brazen glee that they're taking to his murder. And then when I see even Destiny, who's a very well-followed person on the internet, well-known, when Destiny, frankly, if you can't bring yourself just to say the murder was horrific and should never have happened, it's a very simple sentence. It's just basic humanity. It really makes me despair for where everything is going, because it's indicative of the mindset of,
I can't give an inch to my political opponents, therefore I lose my humanity. How can that be right?
Because you can't give an inch to political opponents that won't recognize or acknowledge anything they've done is wrong. It's all it's done is gotten us here. This is where we're at because of that exact mindset. Will any of the conservatives here acknowledge the conservative that murdered Melissa Hortman and her husband and shot the other senator in Minnesota?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, just
that it was
about
a
all
conservative
political
shooter.
violence.
That it was a conservative shooter.
I don't know the details on that particular case. If I did, and it turned out that it was the case, of course, I would say that such violence should be disavowed. Thing is, you can't hold your entire moral standard based on what you think Trump is doing or not doing. What does that have to do with you, Destiny? It has nothing to do with you. You can easily just say, you can lead by example and say, let's all tone down the violence.
You can't lead by example.
That's what you want,
I'm not the president of the United States. That's what Democrats have been doing.
Wait, you can't lead by example because you're not the president? That's the stupidest thing I've heard today.
If one side wants to fight and the other side doesn't, then you're going to fight. One side can't decide not to fight. If the other
that
side
makes no sense. What does that have
What do
to
you
do
mean
with
it
you?
makes no
You
sense?
can-
If
you
some
can
guy comes up to you to
you
fight,
can easily
and the
just
other
say it
side
now,
says, I
Destiny.
don't want to, you don't really have the choice there.
Lead by example
works.
then. Lead by
You
example.
can't lead by
and show
example.
us.
That's called dying.
You can.
Actually,
Right
I
now,
thought-
you
I
do
thought-
it right
I
now.
actually
Do
thought-
it right
I
now.
actually
That's a party
thought.
of
Let me
self-defense.
jump in
Because you're actually happy
Let me
about
jump
it,
in
Destiny.
here.
Just be honest, you're happy
I actually
about it.
felt that Anna hit the nail on the head here.
You're not going to believe what happened. Tell me everything. I'll show you on Monday.com. So I started the biggest.
Which is she did not need to wait for Donald Trump to comment on this to make her own mind up about what had happened. That is intellectual honesty, right? Yes, it may have been somebody that she totally disagreed with on many issues. The simple, humane thing to do with any event like this is to ask yourself, how do I personally feel about it? Not what does Donald Trump think about it, or what does Joe Biden think about it, or what does Timbuktu think about it? It's what do I personally feel about this? It didn't take me very long, Destiny, to understand that I felt repulsed by the execution of somebody in cold.
And the crazy thing is, even our worst criminals don't get public executions. That's what makes it even more sad. Like the worst of the worst do not get public executions, but a white conservative Christian male does. Sad.
Blood with his wife and 2 young children there watching. It's a human reaction. I don't need to know what Donald Trump thinks about it at all. I don't understand why you need to wait for him before your own humanity
I don't need to wait
kicks
for
in.
anybody. No, you're not asking how we feel about it. You're asking what the public statements should be. And the public statements should be the president of the United States.
I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No,
You're
I'm
asking
not.
me for a public statement
I'm
right
asking,
now.
where is your humanity? You can't just say the
Where
murder
is your
was
humanity,
wrong.
Piers? You guys are playing into this exactly. I think you probably know it. I think Cornell was right about this. You know where your bread is buttered as well. You guys play into this. It's insane to me that the president of the United States can't say, hey, all of us need to be less violent. We all need to calm the fuck down. That the president of the United States can't say
We got to stop putting him on those shows.
this, but you will.
But it's he's rewarded, right? He makes money off of being absolutely insane.
Endlessly scour Twitter and YouTube for leftists to bring on and say, don't you guys disavow the violence? It's absolutely absurd to me.
You know, Cornel West should have stayed in his seat. We were debating free speech, actually, and whether
You're not debating free speech.
well, let me finish. Let me finish. And whether the overuse of words like Hitler, Nazis, and fascists was actually empowering deranged young minds to think they were battling actual new Hitler, Nazis, and fascists. And actually, when Andrew pointed out to Cornell that he had used the phrase neo-fascist about Trump, that's when Cornell decided he couldn't take part in the debate anymore, when he was reminded of something he had said. He didn't try and deny it. He just said, I don't want to have this debate, and left.
Piers, how long have you been in the United States, like following our politics?
Over 20 years, I've lived and worked in America.
Okay, if you've lived and worked in America, I grew up as a conservative listening to Rush Limbaugh and to Glenn Beck and to Billy Cunningham and to Sean Hannity. You're going to sit here and pretend like Democrats are the ones that started the name calling? I heard them call Obama and the Clintons socialists and communists.
When did I say that?
I heard them call. I'm just saying, why are we pretending that some people...
I'm saying,
he just keeps moving the goalpost. Oh, this is so insane.
Household?
Why would Cornel West walk out on a debate when we're literally talking about the importance of speech? Makes no sense to me.
If speech is important, then the president should exercise it more cautiously.
So should you.
And Republicans have been. You can't stop.
You've got millions of followers, and you think it's fine to show them you're mocking a widow.
You cannot choose for your opponent not to fight you.
Fine.
If Republicans won't turn down the rhetoric, then fine. Then who cares? Donald Trump shouldn't have used the rhetoric that led her to be killed. 2 days before she dies,
cares that you mocked a grieving widow?
This is all. It's just virtue signaling. You guys are excited about it. You guys love it.
How is it? How is it that you said this guy can't possibly be a leftist?
It's exciting to you. It's insane to me.
Yeah.
No.
How is it that you said this guy can't be a leftist because he grew up in a white Christian household when you grew up in a white Christian household by your own admission just now, and you're a fucking leftist, Destiny?
I'm 36 years old. This guy was 22, and
I can't believe he's 36. That's crazy.
Lived at home.
What does that have to do with anything?
Life.
What does that have to do with anything?
I had 20 years to separate myself from my parents' ideology. I didn't live with them still. Jesus.
So six.
But he's been streaming since he was really young.
6 months, 1 year, 20 years. Why does it matter how long it took to separate? You just got to say it was impossible. And you yourself are a leftist who grew up in a Christian conservative household.
You can't make this shit up.
Dude. You're the worst hypocrite I've ever seen.
Hold on, I'm sorry. You think that a 22-year-old has as much time to separate himself from the ideology that he grew up with as a 36-year-old?
Didn't say.
Yeah. They can start sooner because you are consuming social media content at like 10, 12. I mean, I have a relative that was pretty liberal by the time she graduated high school. And she started getting that way at literal 12 years old because they're on TikTok, they're on Twitter, they're on social media.
Yeah, you just made the comparison, dipshit. Of course you did. It's not.
Let me ask you. Look
at you.
Point.
Let me jump in. Let me jump in. Let me ask Jack. Jack, you know the Kirk family well. You've been around the Kirk family, I think, since this is appalling murder has happened. When you hear Destiny saying, "Who cares?" about the fact that he openly, publicly mocked Erica Kirk, a grieving widow, within literally a day or two of her husband being murdered. How does that make you feel as a friend of the family?
It's very angry, Piers, you know. And here's the thing is she's seeing all of it. She's going to see all of it. Her kids are going to watch this video one day. It's just, that's sort of the nature of reality now. They will see all of this and they will see the reaction. And I just hope that those of us who knew Charlie, worked with Charlie, who knew Charlie beyond the, TikToks and short videos can also be there for those kids as they grow up to let them know who their dad was.
And kids are going to grow up and watch old episodes of Piers Morgan uncensored. How performative is this? Is everybody here? Did we all get like a script before the show?
What is wrong with him? I think he really might be autistic.
They watch a lot of old episodes of the JFK.
You make the left look so bad and you don't even realize it. You are seriously so embarrassing.
Okay, yeah.
God.
You can talk to your best friend.
You really are. I mean, like,
later,
you
have another 30-minute conversation about it, Anna.
Maybe I will. Maybe I will talk to Glenn Beck about it. Oh, is that naughty? Is it
how
naughty?
many conversations have you had with Nick? You had more conversations with Nick than anyone.
So mean. Oh, no. Not the meanies on Twitter.